Hereford FC, how are we doing, buddy? Good to see you on YouTube. Thank you for joining me over there. Good to see you. DJ Dipper, how are we doing on TikTok, buddy? Good to see you too. Happy User, also in the room. Thank you for hitting those likes already, everyone. Appreciate it. How are we doing today? Hope we're okay. So Bitcoin's taken the dip I expected it to. Ethereum's taken the dip I expected it to. I'm getting quite good at this. So yeah, Ethereum merge successful, but investors have dumped on it. So also staking rewards aren't going to be as good as people thought, and also 46% of the hash rate is done by two addresses. So very, very decentralized, which people aren't going to like. Am I printing something? No, I'm in the kitchen, family kitchen. So there's still people here doing stuff. You made it when you got your own Discord server. No, I haven't made it. I'm trying to make it. That's the difference. But yeah, Discord's going well. I'm on over 550 people. The link's in the bio if anyone wants to take a look. It's completely free. I share some information there every now and again that is sort of privy to Discord, not anywhere else. But also now, obviously, YouTube, trying to expand that as well. So hopefully that will be taken on as well. Happy User, thank you for the rainbow donut. I appreciate that. That's really kind. Thank you. So, yeah, looking on YouTube, let's have a look and see what we've got. We've got the daily charts up and the hourly chart and the 4 hourly and the weekly. So the 4 hourly chart and the daily chart is where I tend to look. I am a long-term investor and charts don't really matter to me, but it's good to know what I think the market might be doing sometimes. Doctor, how are you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Old School, how are we doing? Good to see you. See your research on the Poly one. Did you find where to buy it? Yes and no. There is a pre-ICO going on, but it's kind of, I think it's done, and we're just waiting for the main sale now to come out. Quant predictions, Quant will be fantastic. That's my prediction. I want 4 figures within the next 3 years. So I'm thinking next bull run, 4 figures for Quant should be easy. CBDC will be flowing. And it really will come into its own. I think it's already being adopted by a lot of CBDCs quietly. We've got test nets going live next year. So everything in terms of CBDC could be decided next year in the UK and in Australia. SDG123, how are we doing? Do I think there's some more downside on the way? Might wait until drop to buy more. Well, to be fair, looking on the hourly and the 4 hourly, it's pretty bad. I mean, we're down to 19.5 at the moment. We hit the top of the channel and we've come plummeting back down. I do think that there is support around about the 18.5K level. I've just traced it on the daily, about 18.6, 18.7. If we break that line, then I think we're probably seeing 17.5 again. Going out to the weekly. Going out to the weekly, we are kind of at the top of the weekly channel. Which is coming into a very narrow. And I'm not a great expert on TA. I just do what I need to do. But in terms of this channel I'm currently looking at, we are right at the top. So I would expect quite a strong pullback on the weekly. Again, maybe down to 18.6, 18.7. Again, if we break the bottom of that channel, 17.5 is likely. You think 2025, 1,000K? $1,000 on Quant in 2025. I think the next bull run, it should be easy. But I think actually it could get there before that, because if it is ISO adopted and it does come into use before the bull run, it's a use case price, not a market price. So for me, Quant 4 figures, preferably within 3 years. But if it comes there before, that's great. No problem with that at all. UOS prediction. Let's have a look. I don't even think I've got UOS on the list. Let's have a look. UOS UDT. Let's have a look at that one. So for the benefit of those on YouTube, you'll see the chart now for UOS. So weekly, it's pretty low on the weekly. I mean, we're a long way down. Have a look on the daily. The daily, I've actually got a buy indicator, but we are in a rising channel. It's slightly bear flaggish. So according to the daily chart on Ultra UOS, I would probably not touch it at the moment. It's got a rising bear flag pattern. We've tested the top 3 times, so it may well retrace quite heavily, and it is retracing now. So I would probably hold fire. But I mean, UOS I've looked at briefly. It's not something I'm particularly interested in for holding myself. But it is semi-decent. But of course, we're in a bear market, and it's more than likely just going to follow Bitcoin like the rest of the market does. So for me, I mean, we've hit the top on that bear flag 3 times. This could now be tracing quite a long way. I'm ignoring this buy signal because we're in a bear market, and that is proper bear flag. I mean, this is not correctly set up for a daily on this one. How are we doing, Phil? Good to see you. Good afternoon. Crypto Rex states low health. States low of market in 29 days. Yeah, I mean, Crypto Rex is quite a good trader, to be fair, and he's very much good at his charting. I do think 29 days could be realistic. I mean, if I come back out now to Bitcoin on the weekly, sorry, on the daily. No, actually, no, I want this one on the weekly. I've got daily set up already. So the daily, I mean, if we say 29 days, he's probably expecting to break the bottom of this channel then, I expect, in which case we're looking all the way across to the next level of support down, which is about 16.5. Where's that next level of support? Well, about 17.5 again, actually. So yeah, we could come down if we remain bearish. And let's face it, we are bearish at the moment. As I said, the daily is all right. The weekly is probably due a retrace. And if that goes on for 4 weeks, we could see a retrace down. Absolutely. So not doubting his expertise there at all. Do I think Quant £2,000 in 2025? Well, if we think about price of Quant and bull market conditions, it needs a market cap of less than 30 billion to be $2,000. So in theory, 30 billion is not a lot, but I think in terms of use case on Quant, it would be quite a lot for the next bull run. But who knows? I mean, it's solid. I like it. If it doesn't do $2,000 or £2,000 at some point within the next 5 years, I'd be a bit disappointed. But anything in the region of 4 figures, I'm taking very healthy profit there. I'm not hanging around for the top. I will be taking profits in the bull run. Mr. Unknown, how are we doing? Good to see you, buddy. Hereford FC, you're welcome for the US dip. Will there be another Quant dip? I think Quant will dip if Bitcoin dips hard, but it will have to dip hard. Quant's holding really strong above $100, and I think that's because of the circulation issues. There's a lot of Quant now that is not on exchanges, so we're paying the supply and demand premium now. Loopring, solid project, kind of overinflated in last year's bull run. It was a hype project, but it's got solid fundamentals. So I do like Loopring. Definitely one I'm keeping an eye on. Bitcoin 16.5, that's your mark for purchase. Think that'll happen. I think we'll certainly probably come down at 17.5 at one point again and test that area. If we come down from that, 16.5 is probable. So yeah, as I said, not an expert, not financial advice, but if we break down 18.5 and we go down to 17.5 and that doesn't hold, 16.5 would be my next best guess. Bull run timing 2023, not for me. I mean, I'm still very, very bearish. We've got a very weak macroeconomic climate at the moment. We're in a recession. Ultimately, you have to remember that. The markets tend to bottom out 6 months before the market actually shows signs of recovery. So 6 months before we're out of recession. So I'm thinking, 12 to 18 months to pull ourselves out of this recession, which would coincide quite nicely with a Bitcoin halving. That kind of might just trigger a super-sized bull run. But I don't think we're due a bull run in 2023. We could have a run up. We could have a very strong run up. And that could take us into the high 20s, maybe even the low 30s. But I don't think it's bull run. I think it's just a run. D, you're always after the Coda Finance predictions. I still haven't researched it, so no predictions here. It is on my list of things to research, so hopefully I might have an answer on that for you soon. So I think Quant might be £1,000 in 3 years. For me personally, yes, I think the use case is very strong. I think if it's adopted fundamentally in institutional governmental practice as part of the CBDC, you've got to say quant is used in that system. It has a use case, which is why we don't see much use of quant now. But when CBDCs are up and running, if quant's adopted, and I believe it will be, personally, that's my opinion. There's nothing out there to rival it in that sector. If that's the case, then quant gets mainstream adoption. Its coin comes into use, and also we're all stacking it because of investment. So I think price just goes up and up and up for the next bull run, which is, as I said, 18 months, 2 years away, possibly into 2025 even. So yeah, 3 years, 4 figures for me is probably realistic. So Loop Ring I've done. Illuvium for me, I'm not a fan of Illuvium in terms of games. I love the game and the graphics itself. It did beta and alpha testing last year, but they're holding out. And I want to know why they're holding out. They're either not going to launch it or they're just waiting for the bull run. Either way is really annoying. But Illuvium's got fantastic tokenomics, and it is a great looking game. So if it releases, fantastic. It's going to be really strong. If it doesn't release, it's just a glorified rug. Kaylee, don't shill or you will get banned. Rolled, how are we doing, buddy? Good to see you. Nashi, how are we doing? Good to see you. Proof of stake being chased by the SEC. Yes, absolutely. I did a quick TikTok on this after work because it really annoyed me. So Gary Gensler has basically come out and said that all proof of stakes could be deemed as security, which is really bad if you're an Ethereum fan because the merger's gone very smoothly, but ultimately you're not going to get the rewards you were getting as a miner. Staking rewards are going to be really low, and ultimately, I think Ethereum could be in for some issues. And if it does get picked up by the SEC as being a security, then could we see Ethereum just die? It's possible. It doesn't matter if it's good tech. If it isn't built up to sustain the future, it could go. Thoughts on Seek VR? I mean, I like Seek VR. I was onto that one quite early, but I veered away into other projects. Giving in with coins at the moment. I don't blame you, Nashi. I don't think now's the time to buy in bulk, and I know you're a big investor. I think if you're looking for the right time to buy, probably wait to hold the trigger and see what happens in the market. I do think we could dip lower. We're showing real signs of weakness right now. But I'm dollar cost averaging because I've started in the bull run, so everything's still cheap to me. And what I'm buying, I'm holding for 2 years maybe. Alan Dulia, welcome, buddy. Good to see you too. Bitcoin back to 1,000, I think. No, Bitcoin won't go to 1,000. It could surprise us all and do maybe something like 7K. That would be a real shocker. I don't think it's that weak anymore. I think the market is a lot stronger. Adoption will keep it up to a degree, but we're in a recession. We have no idea how it's going to get treated in a recession. Just gives them some attention back to YouTube. Veracity, yeah, Hartford FC. Veracity is a decent project. I do like it. Not that familiar though, so I couldn't give any kind of predictions on it. Ewan, welcome to YouTube, buddy. Good to see you on there. You wish you could fall asleep and wake up 2 years later at the top of the bull run. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? But if you're a long-term investor, in theory, you could do that. You could just shut everything off and say, I'll come back when the bull runs on. But yeah, it depends if you're holding or whether you're trading in that time. Solana will be the successor if Ethereum fails. As you said, doesn't have to be good tech. Very, very true. I mean, I don't personally like Solana. I won't be buying it, but that's because I'm biased. I think Polkadot is the thing. Polkadot is the most likely for me to be the Ethereum killer. Solana's very good, but it's not reliable. It's not secure. It's proved that already. It needs a lot of work to get that out of the system. If it doesn't, I think what's coming out on Polkadot network and on Kusama network right now will absolutely destroy everything else, including Ethereum if it goes badly for Ethereum at the moment. And of course, Dot is secure. Parachains and the integrations have got weaknesses, as have all systems, but they've got some quality projects coming out. And I think Polkadot is the most likely Ethereum killer for me. It's really strong. What's my average price on Quant? My average price is actually up over $100. I started buying it at $64 last year, so I wasn't early, not really, but I got in there before it blew up, but I didn't buy a lot, so my average price is just over $100. I was still buying it up at $250 when it nearly got to 400. I stopped buying it at 250, and I've been waiting for the right entry point ever since. I've missed the low, I think, on Quant. And I was saying last year Quant would never see $100 again, but then again, I'd never seen a bear market. So it goes to show you. Potential rally in 4 to 8 months in 23. I think so, yeah, absolutely. Very probable we'll have a rally at some point. It could be quite a strong rally. Moved everything to cold storage and decided to sit on your hands. Great plan. When does the ICO coin come into effect? Is it the ISO? ISO came into effect. It was supposed to be fully into effect in November. So that standard starts getting worked to then. But we've got to remember, all this is a standard that financial practices have signed up to adhere to. So we will do things in a more efficient, professional way. If you read ISO, it sort of tells you what they have to do to meet the standard. And these projects that we're looking at, the likes of XLM, XDC, Algo, they are going to help those. They're certified to be able to help those projects or those businesses practice finance to that standard. No one knows what's going to be adopted, but in theory, yes, ISO goes live in November. Some aspects of it have been delayed to next year, which is going to happen. But the main thing to remember about ISO is who was on the council when it was getting set up. Gilbert Verdian. Who's the CEO of Quant? Gilbert Verdian. Digital Pound Foundation advising the UK CBDC committee. Quant. Who's the CEO of Quant? Gilbert Verdian. So follow Gilbert Verdian on Twitter and just watch who he speaks to. It is very reassuring. Algorand, really strong, like Algo. Rune and Thorchain, not overly familiar with it, but it is looking okay. I like it superficially, but I've never done a deep dive. Shiba Army said it would be £40 in 5 years' time. Is this true? No, it's not. I'm holding on to my 10 billion tonic. You wait and see. I really hope the tonic one plays off because I think tonic came out at the worst time. It really did. The top of Crypto.com's run, Crow Token was at its peak. Kronos launched. You had VVS and Tectonic come out. They both had the pre-launch run and then dumped. And then Bitcoin started dumping after that. So if you're looking at it now, it looks horrific. It looks like a rug. But I do think there's longevity to it. They were partnered with Kronos chain. So they are hopefully around for the long term. Kilt, I'm not overly familiar with either. Hereford FC on YouTube. Yeah, Kilt isn't one I've looked at. Not really. I've superficially looked at it. It's not even really worth me comment on it. I probably know far less than you do. Bag is QNT, XRP, DOT, Bitcoin, Cardano, and Matic. I think that's a fantastic bag, Mr. Unknown. You've got all the bases covered there. And they're solid projects as well. So hopefully you wouldn't have any issues, but you never know. But I think they're all quality. Is Algo worth a buy right now? Where's Algo now? Let's have a look. Let's find it on the chart. Algo on the 4 hourly. I mean, Algo on the 4 hourly is about, it's got a little bit more. It could drop maybe another cent. If it dropped to 28, I think Algo, if you're holding it long term, might be interesting. It hasn't been lower than that for a very, very, very long time. So it would definitely be interesting. So I think the recent support, it bottoms out at 27.8, 27.9 cents on the 4 hourly chart. As I said, it's not been lower than that since the middle of June, so 2.5 months. So that would be testing a very recent support level. A support level from 2.5 months ago, which is a long time in crypto. So, but we've bounced off that 27.8, 27.9 level. We've bounced off that 3 times since the 27th of August. So I would probably say let it come down once more. If it finds support and bounces up, it'll probably bounce up quite strongly. If it fails again, it's probably going to dip quite hard. So my answer on Algo would probably be, personally, I would hold fire and just see how it plays out. Moon River, any thoughts? I love Moon River. I wasn't initially getting into Moon River as priority because I had so much else in the Polkadot network. But because I've accumulated quite a lot of Akala and because of the issues they had with regards to their stablecoin pool, even though they've fully recovered, my confidence, I have to admit, has been knocked. But I'm still quite bullish on the product. I haven't sold out. But my investment is now going into Moon River. So, for example, all the rebates I get on Crow, I'm actually converting to Moon River token, and I'll be swapping that and staking it on their delegator service. Do I like API 3? API 3 is not one I'm wholly familiar with. I do need to research it because I've heard it being compared to some pretty decent projects. I think ADA would be in the top 5 and bigger than ETH. I mean, it could be. If ETH struggles, we could see a real big power struggle on the altcoins. Do I know what exchange XDC is available on? To be fair, I've only ever used KuCoin for that. I'm sure it's on others. But if you went on to coinmarketcap.com or CoinGecko, it would be able to tell you. I mean, so for example, for those on YouTube, if you just search for XDC, there's a little tab when you go in and have a look at it eventually. There's a little tab up here that says, where is it, markets. If you click on there, it will tell you all the places it's listed, and it'll even tell you the trading volumes. So KuCoin is at the top. It gets 9.6% of the volume, but actually by volume, BitTrue does more. And I think that's because the Americans can access BitTrue. So the US market is buying a lot of XDC, probably. But KuCoin, Gate.io, BitTrue is the biggest one by volume, 23% of the volume, $500,000 in the last 24 hours. So XDC is not heavily traded, but there's a fair amount in 24 hours going through. So yeah, it's available on a lot of exchanges, but that's how you find out. Go into coinmarketcap.com, go into CoinGecko, and just look on the markets, and it'll tell you where to find these things. But I do like XDC long term. Obviously, it is ISO certified compliant as well. I know this stuff is off the mark, but the beard is coming on. Cat will not lick that off. Yeah, it's coming on. Yeah, I think it's getting a little bit uneven, to be fair. I might need to do something about that, but I'm not brave enough to get the scissors or the beard trimmer on it yet. Gary, how are we doing, buddy? Good to see you. Do I have the plug-in? The plug-in Raven Moon? Sorry. Stacking Gala now. Thoughts? I think Gala's sound. I would rather invest in a platform like Gala than I would a metaverse or gaming project right now. Gala's already out there. It's already in use. Yes, it's going to be quiet in the bear market because not a lot of people are going to be wanting to spend their money on disposable type crypto like metaverse and gaming tokens and playing on the games. It's got some turnover for sure. But yeah, Gala's decent. But of course, we don't know where anything's going to be after this bear market. How are we doing, James? Good to see you. Ace Crypto Maxi on board. How are we doing? Bacon Sandwich. How are we doing, buddy? Good to see you in here. How are we doing? What's going on with Tangi? Not a lot, really. We're waiting for announcements all the time. I think they're basically stalling until the market recovers. They are launching their token. It's no longer just a CBD type finance token. They've broadened it now to a general finance use, which is really actually good to see. It's specifically designed for the CBD economy, but ultimately they've taken it to a wider audience, which I think is right. XDC is on uphold as well. Thank you very much for that, Phil. Appreciate that, my brother. Do I think Quant will drop down to $40 again? I honestly don't know. We would need to see Bitcoin drop 50% for that to happen, which means 10K lower. I don't think I'm going to see a 10K Bitcoin, but you never know. Quant will follow Bitcoin, but it's holding strong above $100 until Bitcoin collapses. So we might not see a $40 Quant again. But I said in the bull run we'd never see a $100 Quant again, and boy was I wrong. Too much work, that beard. To be fair, the beard is actually very, very little work. I don't do anything to it. This is actually how my face grows. So, yeah, there's literally nothing there and nothing there. I don't shave here. This is literally how it's growing. I'm really unfortunate that I am not gifted with facial hair. Would it be best to do XDC, USDT? It depends. I mean, when the trading pairs are a bit funny. I mean, you can get better rates for different trading pairs, but ultimately, once your currency is on that exchange, you can change it to something else and trade it with whatever you want. Ultimately, you want to make sure you get the best value for money. So if you get a slightly better rate on USDC than you do USDT, do that. If change your USDT to USDC. But likewise, if you're getting the best rate on USDT, yeah, trading pair. All a trading pair is, it's what you buy it with and what price you get. People think there's a lot more to it, and in essence, in the background, technically there is. But for you and I buying it on an exchange, certain pair will give you a better price. So depending on whether you transfer Bitcoin across, or USDT, or USDC, or ETH, if it's a trading pair for ETH, you'll have a slightly different exchange rate, just like an exchange bureau. So it just depends what the best value for money is. But yeah, there's no harm in buying it in USDC or USDT. It doesn't really matter. You'll pay a slight difference in the price, that's all. If Bitcoin goes to 15 or 1750, yeah, I mean, yeah, Quant will certainly start moving then. I was right about the Bobcat miner on HNT, not good. 3 HNT in 3 weeks. This is it. The rewards have just plummeted, absolutely plummeted. Now, 3 HNT in 3 weeks sounds bad, but obviously in the next bull run, if HNT is still strong, it's adding the 5G network to it. It'll have a lot more use case, a lot more trade. That token could be well over $50 that you got to before, in which case you're not that unhappy then. But yeah, I mean, you've got 3 miners, Nashi. I know you said that before. So you've got 1 miner one HNT a week from one HNT every 3 weeks. So that is actually really low. So you need to check your witnessing. You need to get your aerial outdoors up on top of your roof, maybe, or even better, if you can do an outdoor setup and run the cable out and hardwire it to your network, that would be even better. But I know you're a builder, so that's not beyond you. I wouldn't suggest it otherwise. QNT $40 would be surprised, but if it does, buy. Absolutely, I would too. I mean, I'm dollar cost averaging. I've got a plan, but if something like that happens, my plan goes out the window, and I just start buying. I mean, if Bitcoin goes 15K or less, I think that's the time I start loading up. DCAing will just go out the window. Have I ever looked at trading Forex? Not really. Trading's not for me. I mean, I work a 9 till 5, and I do crypto as well, and I've got the family, and I think you need to be pretty dedicated and pretty experienced and have really good technical knowledge on trading, and I'm not at that mark. Hey, old school, you're welcome, buddy. Not a problem. Thank you. I appreciate the feedback as always. Glad you still find it good content and helpful info. Really appreciate that feedback. Thank you. What would I say about Chiliz? Not a lot. I don't know an awful lot about Chiliz, to be fair. I mean, I'm happy to have a look and just see how it's performing. But I don't really know a lot about it, but let's have a look anyway. I do get asked quite a lot about it. I should really research it and bring myself up to speed, to be fair. CHZ's the ticker, isn't it? It's just a little bit slow because I am streaming on that place as well, but I should stop saying online. So currently 20 cents, 5% up on the day. Market cap's 1.2 billion, fully diluted 1.8, so 68% supply, which is okay. Certainly not on the low side. That's not bad at all. All-time performance, let's have a look. So it launched in 2019, did nothing. Bull run 2021 went absolutely crazy, peaked at every bull run peak there was. But it is staying much, much higher than pre-bull run prices. So it shows that it has, although it's gone through the bull run and it seemed typical bull run action, it hasn't completely dumped. There is, a price gain of 15, 20x since prior to last year's bull run. So it's clearly got good utility, enough to hold a large increase. So, I mean, long term, I would probably say that it won't get you that same return in the next bull run, but it will probably be quite strong still. It does have a decent utility. Sports entertainment now is becoming quite big in terms of crypto. Got a lot of sports betting things and that coming out now in sports entertainment. So if Chiliz is used and integrated into some of those, it could do really, really well. I think the Forex is a full-time job, I should say. Yeah, Forex is hardcore trading. 300K of Chiliz is the bottom, but Panther Protocol. I'm not familiar with Panther at all, to be fair. So that's an interesting one. Do I think Sol is finished? I don't think it's finished. I think long term, I don't think Sol will do a lot more. It's nothing different or special. It is literally a cheap knockoff of ETH, and it's not reliable. It's not secure. And so until they address those issues, it's got big issues. And I think if something else comes along that's much better for NFTs, it's dead. But that's not yet. It could be a few years down the line. Moonbeam, very, very bullish bricks and slides. You know me on the Polkadot network. I mean, Moonbeam for me is the one I've gone in pretty hard on now. So I was stocking Akala until they had their issue. My confidence has been knocked on that. I was stocking up Moonbeam as well, but I've gone more into Moonbeam. Also Moon River, but more so I've got a lot of Moonbeam now, and I'm getting a decent percentage at the moment on the governance staking. So I've put that on I've delegated that, and I'm getting some governance rewards for that. Status I'm not familiar with at all. Hey Matty, how are we doing? Moonbeam, yeah, Moonbeam just looks. I mean, I'm glad a few of you are looking at Moonbeam and taking it seriously. I mean, it's a great layer one on Polkadot. Hasn't seen a bull run before. Massive sponsorship. 37.5 million Polkadot tokens it's secured in the parachain loans. So that's some serious collateral it's got to play with. Currently 48 cents. I personally think it's a bargain. Current market cap's 188 million. Fully diluted, it's $500 million. I mean, if Moonbeam doesn't get to 20 billion in the next bull run, I'd be really surprised. I mean, I think Moonbeam is one of the layer ones to look out for in the next bull run. Really, really bullish on it. And it's an amazing use case. It basically opens up Pokedex to everything. It's phenomenal. So in short, I did a TikTok on this. And it was great because it had two resources, the website and a Twitter that basically said exactly who they are and what they do. But Moonbeam is an Ethereum-compatible smart contract parachain on Polkadot, and it makes it easy for Ethereum developers to build or redeploy Solidity contracts and projects in the Polkadot substrate-based environment. So it's opening up Polkadot to basically Ethereum developers with no change whatsoever. They'll use all the same programs, the same, the Solidity contracts, but it does more than that because there's minimal changes. You can use all the existing developer tools, but also it unifies all the accounts and the signatures and the addresses, and you can use everything that's good about Polkadot. So it's Ethereum, but better. So you get the oracles that are built into Polkadot, you get the bridges, the wallets, and all these things that are built into Moonbeam. That it is Ethereum plus. I mean, Moonbeam and Polkadot. That's why I'm quite bullish that Polkadot, if anything, is the one that's going to kill Ethereum off, because it is Ethereum but better. It literally is better. So yeah, very bullish. Of course, that's biased. I am biased. I like it. I'm very, very bullish on Polkadot, and I appreciate. You've got to take everything and try and step back, but you just look at it. I mean, Moonbeam is brilliant. It's founded by the Derek Yu, who's the CEO of PureStake, which is just massive. They're a massive part of Moonbeam. Also, you've got Moon River, which is like the canary or sort of feeder network. So, and Moonbeam's tokenomics are totally different to Moon River. Moon River's tokenomics are fantastic. Moonbeam does have a huge supply, but what we've got to remember about Moonbeam, right? Okay, so the full supply on Moonbeam is a billion tokens, and only about 40% of that is out. That's because those tokens are vesting in the parachains and people are staking them. So the circulating supply is very, very low. I would always look, when valuing something like Moonbeam, value it at the fully diluted market cap, because that will be the kind of the full circulating supply. So if something gets to $20 billion market cap, for example, it's got a billion tokens in supply, it's a $20 coin. So at the moment, if we had a $20 billion market cap, you're basically talking about a 100x on the current price. So it'd be about $48. But on the fully diluted market price, it would be about $20, not 48, because you've got that difference in supply. So yeah, Moonbeam for me is just phenomenal. Hey Phil, you're welcome, bro. I don't know everything; it's impossible. But the things I like and the things I research, I try. I'm quite good at retaining the information. But even like then, to give you the best idea, I was reading that off of the screen because my mind can you see so much, it jumbles it up. So I read that off their word for it. As I said, I did do a TikTok the other day. Go and check that out. Again, two sources, the website and their Twitter feed, really good. And they tell you exactly who they are and how they, what they do and how they do it. It's brilliant tech. And like I said, it's literally Ethereum plus Polkadot. So it's better than Ethereum. So yeah, Moonbeam could be absolutely huge. Thank you, Bacon Sandwich. Appreciate that, brother. Alpha knowledge right here. I appreciate that. I'm trying to... I mean, you get people like Crypto is Good who know Polkadot inside out because they're technical. I'm not technical. I've got a background in finance. I work in finance. So I'm not technically minded. I don't know how these things work, but I can appreciate a bigger picture. So, yeah, it's all good. Illumiart, welcome, buddy. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. First time joiner. I really hope you find this session useful. As you can tell below, I am somewhere else as well. So if you wanted to see what I see when I'm going through things, feel free to hop over there. But please remember to drop me a follow here first as well. And obviously, if you go over there, remember to subscribe as well. Yes, Lisa, thank you. Yeah, if you could all just keep whacking that like button for a while. I mean, I'm going to be ending the live in about 10 minutes, but we've got some time to play with. Let's get as many people in as we can. And you're doing a great job smashing those likes. We're up to 40 people in the live, which is fantastic when you consider that the market's quite negative and we're in a bear market. So there's not a lot of happy people in crypto right now wanting to look at these things. Just checking in on Bitcoin on the hourly. We've got a green candle at the moment. So green candle last time we started off about 19.3. We ended that hour at 19.6. We've gained $300, and the next candle's green already as well. So we might be stabilizing now after this dip. So we'll see. We need to see some sideways movement. This is what Bitcoin's done. It's gone sideways, then up, then sideways and down. Just unfortunately, the down movements have been bigger than the up movements. So as I said, you can tell from my TA, I've got a channel that I'm looking at. If I zoom out to the 4 hourly, it's gone. If I zoom out to the daily, you can see I'm looking at a definite channel here. The bottom's holding quite strong. I do think if we break the bottom of this, which is about 18.5, we're probably seeing this 17.5 level that we've bounced off before. And if that breaks, we're probably seeing 16.5. After that, it really is kind of not free fall territory, but just unknown. No one in crypto's never seen a recession, so we don't truly know how it's going to behave. Flux, let's fluxing go. Yeah, Flux is looking like a good project. I haven't done my deep dive on it yet, but it is looking really good. I agree. It is superficially very impressive. I need to do my deep dive. You want to learn how to buy and sell? Just educate yourself in the space. You've got plenty of time in this bear market. You will have a number of months, I believe, before you have to put $1 in. This bear market will last a substantial amount of time. We could have run-ups, but ultimately we're in a very weak place. We're in recession, and they tend to last a year and a half, maybe more. And obviously, then of course we've got the bull run in 2024, 2025, depending on what you believe about hash rates. 16.5, yeah, depressing. Yeah, I mean, but that's just support levels. It's just TA. It's an indicator. Yeah, okay, good TA people can get it right most of the time. But it's only based on history, and history never repeats itself. Quant or Glimmer for bigger gains in the next bull run? Great question. I mean, Quant for me is undoubtedly the most bullish project out there, and I love it. But if you look at the current price of $100, let's say I'm right. Let's say in 5 years it's a $30 billion market cap. Well, that gives us a value of $2,000. Which is only a 20x. Now, I've just said on Moonbeam, if we're fully diluted and that gets to 20 billion, then it's a 20x there. It's $20, which is a 40x. So for me, if you're looking strictly on return of investment, but you'd have to be really bullish on Moonbeam for this to be, you'd have to be looking at, as I said, the figures. I've put 20 billion out there because Solana and Luna did double that in the last bull run. I think Moonbeam's better. But that's my opinion. And you need to do your own research to establish that. But if you end up believing in Moonbeam in the same way, then Moonbeam's a possible 40x from the current position. It could get cheaper if it gets to 20 billion. If it gets to 40 billion, it's a different story again. So yeah, that would be insane returns. But I'm looking at ROIs. I'm looking at projects that have got small caps, that have either survived a bear market before and then done really well last year, or that are completely new to the market but have fantastic fundamentals, like Moonbeam, like Akala, like Moonriver. And as I said, Polkadot biased again, but that it is what it is. I'm very, very bullish on Polkadot, and Moonbeam for me is leading the way. IYG, how are we doing, buddy? Good to see you. Do I think ETH will go to zero in the future now it's centralized? ETH has definitely got issues. ETH definitely has issues. Proof of stake is not going to offer the return that mining did, so miners aren't going to carry on mining it, I don't think. Wrapped ETH is just not going to perform, so they'll need to find something else to mine. So ETH will lose the support of the miners. Proof of stake is offering, they're predicting 3% annual returns for staking ETH next year. That's not going to be enough to withhold support. Fees are going to remain high if there's traffic. So Ethereum hasn't fixed the problems it's got. It's probably made them worse. And now with Gary Gensler coming out saying that all proof of work projects might be securities, they've got even bigger projects. They've just walked right in front of Gary Gensler. And the timing of him saying that is no coincidence. He said it on the day of the merge. That's no coincidence. It's a deliberate shot across the bow of the Ethereum team. So they're definitely in trouble long term. And I said, I don't think they're the best out there. Good tech. IYG, thank you for the cat, buddy. I appreciate that. So yeah, as I said, Ethereum's got great tech, but they're doing things the wrong way, I think. And like I said, with things like Moonbeam, it does exactly what Ethereum does, but it does it better because it's got the strength of Polkadot behind it. I sound like I'm shilling it, but I'm not. I'm in no way affiliated. I've just got a passion for it, and I'm investing heavily. Do I hold XRP? Yes, I do. I got into the market last year believing in Ripple and XRP, and I still do. It's just that the court case, when you're realistic about it, you don't know when that's going to offer a return. So I'm holding what I've got on XRP. I'm not accumulating anymore. Hey, man, thank you for the shades. I appreciate that, Nashi. That's very generous. Thank you. So yeah, so it's like I'm just really, really bullish on it. And like I said, the more you get into the arena, the more you like it. But I mean, it's really cool. At Navigator, where are we going? At Navigator. My thoughts on Near protocol's okay. I mean, it's not something I'm an expert on. I haven't done a deep dive. It's certainly performing really well. Again, another one that superficially I've looked at, and it does look like it's got great utility. Definitely one to watch and that I want to do deep dives on. But as I said, limited time and resource mean you can't know everything. But yeah, I do hold XRP, definitely holding that until the court case is done and dusted and I'll be selling off. Hopefully at $5, maybe more. Do I think Ethereum Classic will pump soon? Ethereum Classic had a pump. We've got to remember all this Ethereum merge stuff, we knew about it well in advance. So it is a proper buy the rumor, sell the news event. And Ethereum actually had two pumps. Ethereum Classic had a pump as well. And if I try and get ETC on here, on not the daily, let's do it on the 4 hourly time frame. So let's get ETC on here. So as I was saying on here, if you're on YouTube, you'll have the benefit of seeing the chart. I just want to have a look at the chart. So Ethereum Classic, you can see here a few days ago, well, probably when we've had a pump here and a sell-off. Gone sideways, massive pump here, massive sell-off. Pump again, sell-off. Ethereum Classic is definitely being traded on buy the rumor, sell the news. And it's not gone back to pre-announcement levels. So I think Ethereum Classic is tailing off. We saw Ravencoin do similar. Ravencoin went up 80% in a week on speculation of who will be the next miners coin. I still don't really know who that's going to be. I don't think the market or the miners know yet. It's going to be whoever can get the best revenue. So it's going to be an interesting time. But Ethereum Classic, it might pump again, but I think it's likely to, because I think it is proof of stake, Ethereum Classic, I think. So it might pump again. It might be good long term, but it's definitely had buy the rumor, sell news events? Probably 3 times. Just looking at this chart, so it's probably already happening. So yeah, Moonbeam. Moonbeam is basically, it does everything that ETH does. It's got all the tools to allow ETH developers to just come straight over, but they also get the benefits of everything that Polkadot offers. So Moonbeam is Ethereum better. It literally is better. It does more, and that makes it better. But I'm very biased. Most recent ranking on VC funding was DOT and Near. Yeah, I sort of heard that DOT was being heavily invested in. I think DOT at one point was, in terms of investment funds, it was the 3rd preferred asset. So you had Bitcoin, ETH, and then DOT. That's what they were buying the most of. And it wouldn't surprise me if Near was up there as well. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But yeah, I mean, it does look quality. I need to research it better. Do I think XRP is or was a security? The problem we've got is, yes, it could have been a security at the time. It's evolved since then. But what we also have to consider is that Ripple actually did do everything that they needed to do with the SEC at the time. They said, are we a security? Are we a currency? What are we? And they got a loose agreement at the time. It obviously wasn't formal enough. And they carried on going down one path that they were discussing with the SEC. And then all of a sudden, years later, it's kind of like Gary Gensler comes out and says, no, you're a security, or at least you were. So for me, I think that's the bone of contention. I think the settlement's going to be really complicated because no one's going to want to admit that they were wrong, but there's going to have to be give and take from both sides. My prediction on Glimmer, I mean, my Glimmer is, my Moonbeam is going to be held a very, very long time. We've already seen it, do well at launch, as all tokens do, and it came down because obviously it was only launched this year. It was launched like beginning of January 2022 with the parachain. So it has seen nothing but downward momentum since launch. But I think for me, as I said, it's got very deep pockets. It was funded 37.5 million Polkadot tokens on the parachain loans. So it is really, really strong financially. And as I said, it's got the utility to kill Ethereum. I honestly believe it has. So I am very bullish on it. If we're conservative and we say it does a market cap of, we've got to remember Solana, Luna, they all achieved $40 billion in less than 2 years in that bull run. So they literally went from nothing to 40 billion, and Luna went back down again, as we know, in a very short space of time. So if it's going to happen, it will happen really quickly. And I think 20 billion is reasonable, conservative, if I've got my bullish opinion that I've got. And these valuations are all subjective to the person making them. So in my opinion, I am so bullish on it long term that, as I said, it does compete with Ethereum properly. It properly competes with them. So I'm really strong on it. But if let's say conservatively, in the next bull run or by 2025, it's 20 billion. That puts it fully diluted at $20. Current dilution, $48. So that's where I'm at with it. And if it does better, it does better. I'll probably never sell my bag if it does well. I'll take profits through the whole bull run for sure, if there are any. I could be completely wrong. It could fail and be completely worthless. That's the risk you take with investment. Will Cardano jump on the fork day when it fed? No. Cardano's not going to jump either. I think Cardano will dump as well. This is another buy the rumor, sell the news event. If there's one thing I've learned in the last year and a half in the space, it's that if you know about it beforehand, it's going to pump beforehand, and it would dump on the event. There will be a small amount of retention, but just like it has with the merge has dumped twice, maybe 3 times. So the Ethereum merge has dumped. And I think Cardano will do exactly the same. People have been stocking up Cardano all through this bear market, and this will be the prime opportunity to dump it, because it will see a run-up. But I think it will dump. It'll dump on the day or just before, just like it did with the Ethereum merge. A lot of hype around quant. No one can actually explain it. Quant is interoperability. It helps all these different blockchains interact. So in terms of the payments and remittance system, let's say that we get lots of different projects working with different countries and things. So you've got XLM, let's say for South Africa, you've got Ripple XRP in the States, you've got XDC in China or whatever. Something needs to help them communicate, and that will be quant. So quant's not currently in use to that degree because there aren't CBDCs really out there talking to each other. But when it happens, quant will be involved. That's my belief, and it's most people's belief. Almost everyone in the investment arena says that quant is going to be great, and quant is most likely to do well because it's future tech. It relies upon certain things happening for sure, and they might not happen, but the likelihood is that it will. So everyone's edging that quant will be the next best thing, and we're seeing price action accordingly because it's drying up on exchanges. So that blockchain, yeah, that was Moonbeam. I'm not entering shorts or longs at the moment. Futures trading is not for me in this bear market. It's far too volatile. Right then, folks, I have run over slightly, so I'm going to wind it up there. If you don't follow me already, please do. And obviously the links to all my other socials, especially this one, they are in my bio. Please go and drop me a subscribe there as well. And next time it'll ping you a notification when I'm live, and you can see what I'm looking at on the screen there as well. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you being here, everyone. Thank you for the gifts. If you gifted as well, it's really kind of you. And I hope to see you on a live again soon. Cheers.